All right. You're back to host.
All right, great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Morning, Janice.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
Welcome. Yvonne, good morning.
Good morning, Reed.
See, Ed's there. Hi, Ed.
You.
And morning, Greg.
Good morning.
Let's see, Gail, can you hear us?
Good morning.
Hi, Gail. Welcome.
Thank you.
Aura? Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Okay, great. Thanks. Good morning. Great to have you. And let's see, Gladys. Good morning. So I hope everybody's doing well this fine morning. It's at least it's sunny, nice day in North Carolina.
Sunny here in Toronto.
Oh, you're Toronto. Probably a little nippy though, huh?
A bit. It's warming up.
Okay, good. I had somebody on yesterday from Canada and it was right at freezing. We're about 52 degrees, which is invigorating. I like it a little nippy.
It's refreshing.
It is indeed. So I know the 90s and higher are coming, so I'm enjoying it. Okay. We're going to hang on just another minute or two since it's early morning, give people a chance to get in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. While we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and get some of the housekeeping things out of the way here. I'll go ahead and share my screen and move your pictures over here to my other monitor so I can see everybody over here. see Chuck's coming in. Chuck, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Okay. And we've got a fairly small class, so I'm not going to mute everybody to start with, but more than likely there'll be some background noise or echoes that pop up during the class. And if that happens, I will go ahead and mute everyone. So please do just remember to check and see if you're muted prior to asking a question or making a comment. If you are, just be sure to unmute first and then ask your question. No reason to raise your hand or anything, just unmute and ask away. Let's see, I'm going to also open up the chat. In case anyone's having trouble with their microphone, I do now have the chat open and you can communicate with me that way. But if your microphone is working, please just go ahead and ask your question out loud. That way everybody else can hear your question and I will hear it as well and get you a timely answer, hopefully, get you a timely response anyway. All right. Okay, so that is now open and available. Looks like Earl is coming in. Let's give Earl just a minute, then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, Earl, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I can see you as well. Okay, great. Welcome. Haven't missed anything. We're just gonna get started. So let's go ahead and start the class. And this is WhatsApp. Use WhatsApp to make calls, chat, messages, and more. Thanks for attending. Hope you enjoyed the class. My name is Wade Yarbrough, and I'll be the guide for your class this morning. Briefly about me, I was born and raised in a small town called Mason, Tennessee, far western Tennessee, just close to Memphis. Very small town, 500 people. I got a bachelor's in psychology at Mississippi State and then went to West Virginia for my doctorate and have taught psychology off and on throughout my career, but most of my career was spent designing, installing, and training doctors and nurses how to use hospital information systems. And what I love about teaching with Get Set Up, though, is that I'm teaching people that are in the class because you want to be in the class, not because your employer made you attend the class. And that makes a world of difference. And that's what we try and do at Get Set Up. We try to create an environment where you can take classes about something you're interested in, along with other people that are interested in the same topic, and you can interact with each other. And you can also interact with the guide. So we try to make it a safe, comfortable way to interact and learn, which we think is more fun. The session is being recorded, and any participant can request a copy of that recording by sending an email to help@getsetup.io. Be sure to include the name and date you attended the class, because only people that participated in the class can get a copy. I'm going to put that same email into the chat. So in case you don't have that email already in your email contacts, go ahead and copy that. Because they're at the end of class in the closing slides, I'll talk about some other ways how you might want to use that email. We're also live streaming the class this morning, so I want to welcome anyone that is joining us via live stream. Thank you for joining the class and hope you enjoyed it as well. But I do want to stress that the only way to get what I call the full Get Set Up experience, where you can interact with the other learners as well as the guide, is to go to our website and register for the classes. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any of the products, vendors, or other things we train on. We are purely trainers. So let's talk about the agenda for the morning. We are, oops, hang on one second, I need to check one thing here. All right, we're good. So in terms of the agenda, by the end of the class, you'll know what WhatsApp is and why people use it, how to initiate a chat, a call, or a video chat, both individually or as a group. And we'll also talk about something called broadcasts, which are a special type of chat. So let's get started. First, with what is WhatsApp? WhatsApp is probably not as widely known, especially in North America, as other places. So if you're not familiar with WhatsApp, it was founded in 2009. So it's been around for a while. It was acquired in 2014 by Facebook. And as of October 2020, worldwide usage accessing different messenger apps is broken down below. These are the three predominant North American messaging apps: WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. And of those three worldwide, WhatsApp is the largest, Facebook Messenger coming in second, and Instagram a close third. There's some others that are used more widely in other areas. Of this worldwide usage, most of this is in Europe and other countries. It's still gaining momentum in the US. One point to mention as we're going through here is that all three of these are owned by Facebook. Facebook bought Instagram as well. And you might ask, why does Instagram want three different messaging apps? And there's some core features they all do, but there's some significant differences. So for example, Facebook Messenger is tied to Facebook. It works well with Facebook. And in fact, there's some things within Facebook that you have to use Facebook Messenger for, like if you're buying and selling on Facebook Marketplace. Instagram is all about pictures. So it is targeting people that like to take pictures, like to watch pictures, like to share pictures with other people. And then we'll talk about what's unique about WhatsApp that makes it different from the other two. So why do people use WhatsApp? It is the best for end-to-end encryption. So if you're sending communications that are sensitive in nature and you want to make sure that no one reads it except for the person you're sending it to, including Facebook, WhatsApp is the best way to do it. It encrypts everything as part of that communication: the messages, photos, videos, documents is a big one. We'll talk more about that later. And the calls themselves, audio and video, are all encrypted and secured. There are some other smaller messaging apps that do end-to-end encryption as well, but WhatsApp, certainly of the big three, is by far the most secure. And very briefly, we don't want to get into the details of encryption, but basically how that works is if I'm sending you a message, I will start my message with WhatsApp. And what WhatsApp does is it shares a key between my phone and your phone. And it uses that key to encrypt the message. That message is then sent through Facebook's data center. So Facebook does have it in their data center, but they don't have this key. And so they can't open it if they want to. It comes to you, you unencrypt it and read the message. In fact, even if the police or the government demands that they provide messages that you've sent, they can provide the messages, but they can't unencrypt them. That's why there's some countries that don't allow WhatsApp, because they don't want those encrypted messages going around that they can't subpoena and get access to. It's kind of a testament to the strength of the encryption. Questions about encryption, that part? Okay. And as always, if you have questions or comments, please just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your questions. So encryption is a big one. Probably the bigger one is international calling. People that do international calling frequently go with WhatsApp. It's not only free, but it also seems to be the easiest one to use, and you encounter fewer problems with connections and other issues that you have with other apps that do free international calling, but you may encounter connection problems and other problems. The general consensus of frequent travelers is that WhatsApp is the best. And if you communicate with someone in another country, they're probably going to ask you to do it via WhatsApp. In order to do free international calling and texting, what you need is an active internet connection. That can be Wi-Fi, or it could be the mobile data network. It doesn't use the cellular network. It uses the data network. It's why it's free. So if you're using Verizon, you're not using Verizon's cell network, so you don't get charged anything. Now, it does use your data. So if you don't have unlimited data, you have to kind of keep an eye on it, because you could go through your free data and start being charged for the data. So in most cases, it's better to use Wi-Fi, but either will work.
Wade, this is Chuck. I have
Yes,
a
sir.
question.
Sure.
Is it related to my cell phone plan? Because I don't have an international cell phone plan. So would I still be able to use WhatsApp?
Absolutely, because it's not using that cell plan. It's using your Wi-Fi or data. Yeah, that's the big advantage. You can get international plans and you can swap out SIM cards and other things you can do to use your cellular network. That's kind of the beauty of WhatsApp. You don't need to do any of that.
Okay, thank you.
The number you want to dial has to be stored in your phone's contact list. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but the contacts, your phone contacts are also used by WhatsApp for communication. So if you want to call somebody, you've got to add them to your phone's contact list first. And if they're in another country, you need to have that country's code as part of the number. And then finally, the recipient has to have WhatsApp installed on their phone as well, because again, you're calling from WhatsApp to WhatsApp, like we looked at here. So it's really going from your WhatsApp on your phone to WhatsApp on their phone. It's not going through the cell network. So they have to have WhatsApp, which means you can't call a landline because landlines can't install apps. Questions about international calling? And has anybody used it for international calling? Yeah, that worked well, Janice. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Janice. If you're.
Yes, it worked very well. I was calling the Bahamas.
Okay, yeah. My wife has some friends in Europe, and she uses it mainly because that's what they told her. It says if you're going to talk to us, we only use WhatsApp. So frequently, if you have friends, but if you're traveling, it's great. If you're going overseas and you want to talk to the people back here, it's a great option. Okay. The third reason why you might want to use WhatsApp is we touched on this earlier, but it does send files. Most of the other messaging apps don't allow you to send a file, and it will send large files up to 100 megabytes, which is more than most of the email packages use. And as I mentioned earlier, that document is encrypted as well. So you're sending, you can send large encrypted files via WhatsApp. So even if you could send it via email, unless you're using an email service that provides encryption, it wouldn't be encrypted. So those are the three main reasons: security, international usage, and the way it handles documents. So let's take a look at WhatsApp. Hopefully, if you don't have WhatsApp installed already, all you have to do is go to your app store, whether that's Apple or Android. It looks like this. Download it, install it. It's a very quick, simple installation process. Not much information required. It is going to ask you to share your phone contacts, and you have to do that or it's not going to work. So that's really, you have to grant access. But if you're going to use the app, you don't have any choice because, as I said, it uses your phone contacts as its contacts as well. And I'll explain how that works and why that's important in a few minutes. And then set up a username and password and you're ready to go. So let me show you how this works. Anybody having trouble seeing my phone here? If there's pictures or anything in the way, let me know. I can help you move those around. I'm going to slide this over a little closer to the center to make it easier to see. So I'm going to go ahead and touch the app here and open it. And let me get back to where you would be. Have to hit the wrong one. There we go. And we're going to be spending most of our time here in chats. And is anyone using an Android?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. It's a little different on the Android. I'll try and call out what those are, but it is slightly different. So on the Android, this chat is up at the top instead of at the bottom, but it's the same little icon. It's like a little bubble icon. So that's where we're going to be spending most of our time today is in here. So go ahead and touch that. And the first way that you can start chatting is to continue an existing conversation or an existing chat. And that's what is showing up here on the first page. So these are people that you have chatted with recently. And if you want to continue that conversation, you can just click on that line. We're going to do that one first, just to show you how this works. So I'm going to click on my wife's here. And it opens up that conversation, and you can scroll back through the conversation and see, what you've talked about in the past. 3 things I can do at this point. I can do a chat down here, and we'll talk more about that because that's where most of the options are. But I could also do an audio call, or I can do a video call. Let's start with the chatting. This is similar to sending a text message with your phone, so it should be fairly similar. If I wanted to just send a text message, I would just touch here. I'll do that. It opens up the keyboard, and then I can just type my message. Warn her that I'm in a class because I'm going to be bugging her. So I'm going to go ahead and send that. So sending a simple text is that simple. Just type your text message, hit the send button, and that's been sent to her. Notice there's a single check mark right here. Now there's 2 check marks right there. The first check mark means that Facebook has received my text. The second check mark means that Facebook has delivered that to her phone. So at this point, I know the chat is sitting on her phone. She has not responded. Once she's responded, it'll have 2 blue check marks like this one. But you can sort of tell what the status is. So if there's only 1 check mark, you know that Facebook is having problems delivering your message, or maybe their phone is turned off or their phone's dead, whatever. This means it's sitting on their phone waiting for them to look at it. They just need to open it and look at it, but they haven't looked at it yet. There's some things you can do. You notice my wife sent a GIF here on this one. That's a GIF. Oops, go back. If you want to send a GIF, they're here. And there's lots of different GIFs for lots of different occasions: trending, laughing, sad, etc. So if you enjoy GIFs, that's how you can just send a GIF. A lot of people send a GIF instead of typing an answer, and let the GIF communicate. If you want to send a picture and you want to take the picture as opposed to pulling something off of your phone, you can just touch the camera and it opens the camera. I can take a picture and send it. I can also pull a picture off of my camera pictures as well, my phone pictures. And this is to send an audio recording. So if it's my wife's birthday and I want to sing happy birthday to her and send her that recording, this is to do a voice recording or an audio recording. Over here for the iPhone, it's a plus. On the Android, I think it's a paperclip. Gives you more options of things you can do. Some of this is a duplication. Here's the camera again. Here's my photo library on my phone, which you can do that. Let me do that real quickly because that's very common that you send a picture. So it just opens up your pictures, and depending on your phone, you can go into your albums, different albums, to see what you want to send. So pick a picture. You can send more than 1 picture. If you click this, you can click additional pictures. You can add a caption if you want to explain what the picture is. These are some little birds that just hatched in the fern in our front yard. And then here's that send icon. So I'm just going to send that. So there's the picture that I sent. Let's go back to the plus or paperclip. Room is, this is a Facebook room that you can create from here. Again, Facebook owns WhatsApp, so that's part of the linking between Facebook and the apps that it owns. Rooms are like a Zoom session. We're not going to get into that. If you're familiar with Facebook, you probably know what rooms are, but it works very much like Zoom does. You can do an impromptu call with people, or you can schedule a video call, and in that call, you can see each other's faces on your phone. So works like Zoom. Here's the documents, and we talked about that you can send a document, which is fairly unique. Most messaging apps don't have a way to send a document. If I want to send a document, I just touch document and it'll take me into, again, my phone and whatever I have available on my phone. So I can come into here and pick a document. I just grab that one. So I'm going to touch that one. And so I can hit send. It's going to send that document. Okay, and you can see that's been delivered now. Go back into the plus. The last thing I'm going to show you, which is kind of interesting and can come in very handy as well, is location. So, and if you have an iPhone, you can do something similar on your iPhone. If the other person has an iPhone, this is a way to send your location if that other person doesn't, but that you both have WhatsApp. So it takes me, it opens GPS and marks where I am right now. That is where I am. You got two options. You can send your current location. So what that does, it basically does a snapshot of where my phone is right now. And I can send that to someone. Scenario, let's say I'm out driving in the country and my car dies dead in the road. So I want my mechanic to come and see if he can start it. And if he can't, to tow it back to his shop and fix it. I can send, if he has WhatsApp, I can send him a text saying, here's where my car is, and please go and pick it up. I can leave. I can take my phone with me and he can't tell where I am now. It just tells me where I was when I took that picture. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to show you how that works. Well, actually, I've already just did one. I'll show you when I go back out of here instead of filling up my wife's screen. You can also share live location, which means is that you're not only sharing where you are when you do it, but for some time in the future. Let me touch that one. So I can share my location for 15 minutes, for an hour, or for 8 hours. So again, a couple of scenarios here. Maybe the weather's really bad and I'm getting ready to come over to Janice's house. So I can send a text over to Janice saying, hey, weather's bad. I'm on the way over, but I'm going to share my location so you can track me. And she can follow me as I'm coming up the road to her house. And if I stop somewhere along the way, she would know that something's wrong and can get help for me. Maybe something less sinister is if you're just going to the park with some friends and you're going to be hiking and you're going in different directions, but you want to keep track of where everybody is. You can share locations for an hour as long as you're hiking, whatever. So that's what sharing live location is versus just sharing your one-time location. And again, it's hard to read, but you can add a caption down here as to why you're sharing your location. I'm just hit the X right there and cancel out of that instead. So questions about any of those things you can do underneath the plus sign. Here's that one-time location that I sent. So if she touches that, and I can do the same thing, it opens up where it is in the GPS so that whoever you send it to can go ahead and get turn-by-turn directions via GPS to get to that location. Questions? Okay. Now the other thing I can do, let me see if she's answered. Yes. I mentioned you can do a phone call and it works just like if you call them with your cell plan, but you're calling them with your Wi-Fi. So it's not going to use up any of your cellular minutes, which most people don't have those anymore. If you happen to not have cell coverage, but you have a Wi-Fi, you can call the person using WhatsApp because it's not using the cellular network. In North Carolina, up in the mountains where we go sometimes for vacation, there's no cellular coverage, but there's Wi-Fi pretty much everywhere. So if I need to call somebody, I don't have any bars for my cell, I can call if I've got Wi-Fi. Or I can do a video call. And let me see if my wife will answer. If you have an iPhone and use FaceTime, it's pretty much the same as FaceTime. Hi, honey. Doing WhatsApp class again. Oh, there's the puppies. Oh, and Zoe. We're babysitting two neighbors' dogs. So, okay, thanks, darling. Bye. So that's a video chat. And again, if I could do that with multiple people, I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. Questions before we leave this screen? Okay. All right, let's go to the next step. So that was, continuing with the conversation that had already been started. And that's the easiest thing to do. So if you're talking with the same people most of the time, that's what you're going to do most of the time. But let's say I want to talk to somebody that maybe I've never talked to before, or I haven't talked to in a long time. And so I want to start a new chat. For the iPhone, it looks like this. It's a paper and pencil. For the Android, I think it's the word contact is up here in pretty much the same position up in that top row. So I'm going to click the paper and pencil, and it brings up my contacts. Talk about this for a second. The contacts that it's showing me here are people that have WhatsApp. Again, what happens is when you give WhatsApp access to your contacts, they take those contacts and they check those phone numbers against their list of people that have WhatsApp and match up the ones that have WhatsApp. And then they're here as people that I can call via WhatsApp. So I could scroll through this list and just find the person I'm looking for, or I can search depending on how many contacts I've got. I'm going to search for my brother, Stan. And it has the word invite beside it. And so if you see the word invite beside a contact, that means they don't have WhatsApp, but you can invite them. Now I mentioned you can't use a landline. So this is his landline, his home phone. He can't join up with that one, but he can with this one. That's his mobile phone. So I could click invite right there, and it will send a text message saying, let's chat on WhatsApp. It's simple, fast, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll give him a link to touch on his phone, and it will connect and download the app, which makes it easy for him to join. Still his choice if he wants to join or not. Now, if you scroll down through all of your contacts to the very bottom, down here it says invite friends to WhatsApp. So maybe you've just gotten WhatsApp and you've got 5, 6, 7, 8 people that you want to invite because you scrolled through the list and you're making a mental note of who's not on that list that you want to talk to. So when you get to the bottom, you can just click on this one. And what that's going to let you do is select people, and it asks, how do you want to send it, via mail or messenger or some other way? We're just going to send a text message. That's easiest for most people. Then I can just go through here and start taking off people that I want to invite to use WhatsApp. And you can see it lets you just tick off how many you want. It tells you down here how many you've ticked off. And when you're finished, you just click right here and it'll send those 3 invites. You could do 15, 20, however many you want to do. Just be sure if they got what you're picking is a mobile phone, because you'll have landlines in your contacts. And WhatsApp doesn't know if it's a landline or not. It just knows it's not in their database of phone numbers that have WhatsApp. Okay. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that. So let me go back in here again. We'll pick somebody else that's not on the list. That does have WhatsApp already, that was not in my conversation. So I'll pick Vaden. And it brings me to the same screen we saw before. So one nice thing about WhatsApp, we're going to come to this screen multiple ways, multiple times. It's the same screen. I can do the same things we did before. I can text, I can send gifts, I can send a document. I can send my location, I can call Vaden, or I can initiate a video chat with Vaden. Questions? So you get the same place, just two ways to get there. Pick it off your list or pick it from your contacts. Yep, go ahead, Janice.
Wait, I noticed with some individuals who have WhatsApp, they have a message on there, hi there, I'm using WhatsApp. Others say available, some say at work. Is that a matter of choice? You select what type of message you want?
Yes, you can. And you can, the default is, hey there, I'm using WhatsApp. And you can tell most people never change it. A little bit of trivia, when WhatsApp first started, this was all that it did. You could change your status and notify people. So it was heavily used. Now most people don't use that. You can do that down here where it says status.
Okay.
And I can go into here and click on I can either change my picture or I can change my status here and I can type a status.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but that's what that is. But yeah, for most people don't pay any attention to that anymore. Okay, so that's a individual chat. You can also do group chats, and I've got one here. I've got a group that I've set up. So if I want to do a group chat, I would click this. You can tell by the icon here. It has multiple people in the icon versus a single person. So I'll click there. And it takes me to the same screen. And let me get my cheat sheet caught up. So I can text the entire group. I can send the entire group a document. I can send the entire group a photo. I can tell them all my location. I can do an audio call, or I can do a group video call from here. Just like we did with the individual. It's just that I'm doing it with the group instead of an individual. So let's go. So this is, again, if you've already got a group that you've been working with, that you've been conversing with. Let's say I want to create a new group and start talking with them. Maybe I want to create a group of my family members or my best friends. Just like a new person, you do a new group the same way. You click on the contacts or the pencil up here. And it's, and I didn't show you this, but if you want to add a new contact that's not on your phone, you can enter it here. It'll put it on your phone and also send it to WhatsApp. I can do the same thing with a new group. So I'm going to click new group. And I just go through and pick who I want to be in that group. So maybe I want Carly and Vaden and Dave Har and Liz and Ken, whatever. And it's building my list here of people that are going to be in my group. You know, I can change my mind and say, no, don't include Carly. So I'm going to just touch this X right there with my finger and take her out of the group. Because maybe I touched that one by mistake. I really meant to pick Barbara, etc. So once you've picked the people you want to be in the group, you just go next. And you give the group a name. And at that point, you would click create. I'm not going to click create because I don't want to create this group because it will notify the people that they've been invited to a group. So I'm going to just back out of it. But that's the last step, is to put in a name and hit create. Now, in terms of group size, you can have a group up to 256 contacts. Now, but that's for texting. If you want to do video calls, you can only have 8 contacts. So if you have more than 8 contacts, when you get to that next screen, that let me go back here, go back into a group. It'll take this option off. But now I think you can, I'm not sure about, I think that's true for audio calls as well. I know it's true for video. I need to check that about audio calls, but you can text up to 256 people Anything you can do down here, you can do it with up to 256 people, which is a huge group. Now, there's ways to manage the group. And if you created the group, regardless, you can always touch right here. And when I touch that, it gives me some options. And I'm the owner of this group, so it lets me add new participants to the group. So if I want to add somebody, I forgot to add someone to the group, or someone found out about the group and asked to join, I can add someone here. I can also click on the person. I clicked on Vaden's name. I may have done that too quick. I clicked on Vaden's name. I forgot to show you where you can't see my fingers. I touched here on a person, and I can remove that person from the group, or I can make that person a group admin, so that in that case, Vaden could also add more people to the group and take people off the group. So you have to be an admin of the group to do things to other people. And if you're just a member of the group, you can't add people or remove people, but you can remove yourself. So if you say exit group, that will take you out of the group. So maybe you got put into a group and you don't want to be in that group anymore. You don't have to call the admin and say, take me out of the group. You can take yourself out of the group. And one other thing I'll mention on the way by, there's a lot of other things in here, but I'm trying to keep it to the things you do the most. Mute. If you mute, it just stops making that ding whenever a message comes in. Because sometimes with groups, they get kind of chatty and your phone is dinging left and right. So if you mute it, then and you can determine how long you want to mute it, 8 hours, a week, or forever. And it doesn't stop you from getting the messages. Your phone just doesn't ding when those messages come in, which can be annoying. Questions about groups? I'm going to check on that group size for the audio. And I'll let you know in the email that comes out after class if that's also 256. All right.
Wade, this is Chuck. My wife's here with me and she has a question, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Come on.
Hi, Wade. My name is Billy. Can you be added to a group if the others in the group are not in your contact list?
Yes. That's an interesting. I'm 95% sure. You know, if you just have to be on WhatsApp.
Okay. If I'm not the group owner, someone has added me to the group, then I can use the group just like anybody, just like he would.
Only the admin can add you. So and when you create a group, you're the admin, and like I showed you, you can add someone else to be an admin. Now, to add you to the group, then you would have to be either on one of the admins' contact list. So I can't just go out and search people that have a WhatsApp installed on their phone and put them in my group. So to put you in the group, you would have to be in my contact list, but there could be other people in the group that don't have you in their contact list. Does that make sense?
It does. But I think my question is, if someone makes me part of their group, can I call the group or text the group?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. You can call, text, video chat, any of those things with anyone else in the group. So it's not just the admin that can talk to the group. Yeah, good question. That's good clarification.
Okay, thank you.
And everybody in the group will get that communication, and everybody in the group can respond as well. In fact, that's a good segue to the next topic, which is called broadcasting. So, if it's a group and these are all people in the group, these arrows all go multi-directional. So if this person posts something, everybody in the group can see it. Anybody in the group can respond. That response is seen by everybody in the group. So pretty much anything anybody does affects everybody. If this person initiates a video chat, it's going to try and connect everybody else. They may not be on their phone and answer, but it will call everybody else. And they can all join that audio call if they want to, or that video call if they want to.
Okay, wait, I have one more question.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe more, I don't know. Can I text or call part of the group without
No.
including everybody?
No.
Okay.
To do that, you'd have to either create a new group that has just those subsets. Is the only other way to get around that. So you'd have to have 2 groups.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Or go and just click each individual that you wanted for that particular transaction.
Well, to do that, you have to create a group. So you have to go through that process and give it a name. You can't just go and ad hoc select people and call them.
Okay.
Yeah. You can do that with some of the phones. I know with the iPhone, you can do that on a FaceTime call. You can add people in the middle of a call. If there's a way to do that on WhatsApp, I've never seen it and I don't know how to do it. I think you have to create a group. But yeah, great questions. So let's talk about broadcasts, because broadcasts are like groups, but they're different in the sense, and these are really, I think, created for businesses. Lots of large businesses use WhatsApp, especially if they're an international business. That way everybody can communicate without incurring charges. But let's say I'm the manager of this group. These are all my employees, and I want to let everybody know there's going to be a team meeting today at 5 o'clock. So I can send a text out, a broadcast out to all these people. They'll all get that broadcast. They can all respond, but they can only respond to me. So, and in fact, no one else even necessarily knows who else is in the broadcast group that got the message. So it is a bunch of one-to-one correspondences that happen all at once. And you can do the same thing without being in a business. You could have a church group, and these are all people in your church class, and you may want to send a message out to everybody, but you don't want to start a group conversation going on. So you could do a broadcast. Can we change the meeting from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock next Saturday? So it asks all these people, they can all respond, but they're not getting into a conversation amongst themselves. So let me show you how to do a broadcast. So I'm going to come back to the phone here and go back to the main chat screen again, where we've been several times. And you don't see your broadcast lists on the this page here, but you do have a link here to those lists. So they are kept separately. So here's my broadcast list. So this is equivalent to that screen we had, the prior screen. These are ones that you have had conversations with recently. So if I wanted to send something to the this broadcast list called team members, I can just touch that line and it opens up a similar one. All this is the same as we've seen already. You can't call or video call a broadcast list because by definition, it's one-to-one. So if you're going to do a group call, everybody would be on the call. So there's no calling options with broadcasting. It is purely sending a text with an attachment of some type. If you want to send an attachment, could just be a text saying team meeting at 5 o'clock. Questions about, and let's talk about broadcast, adding a new one. So I'm going to hit the back arrow and go back to where we just were. This one's a little different as well. And I'm not sure, Yvonne, about the Android. I think it looks pretty much the same. But if I want to create a new broadcast list, it's down here at the bottom, new list. And I touch this and it looks just like creating a group from there on out. I pick who I want to be in the list. And then I create the list. So I pick some people and create a list. So questions about broadcast lists? And in fact, that is the last topic we were going to cover. So let me just open it up for any questions anybody has about anything we covered or anything we haven't covered. Oops, I keep doing that, and every time I do it, it messes my phone up. But, there it is. There's no questions. There is one other thing I think I have on the list that I just remembered. It's a way to send a quick photo, which is kind of handy sometimes to have. That's what this little camera icon is. And I think on the Android, it's up at the top. But if something's going on and I want to capture it and just send it to somebody really quickly, I can just touch the camera and take a picture of whatever is going on. I can add a caption and hit send. And in this case, it kind of works backwards. I hit send first, and then it asks me who do I want to send it to. And this is where you can ad hoc create a group. So I can now go in and
Much better.
pick people individually.
At least it warms up.
And you also notice I've got groups on here, so I could send it to a group. I could send it to individuals. Here's another group that I've created, the Yarborough family group. So maybe I want to send it to everybody in the Yarborough family group, but I also want to send it to Vaden as well. So you can mix and match groups and individuals, and hit send, and it'll send that picture to them. So that's the quick photo. Got time for one or two questions. If anybody has any questions about anything we haven't covered or covered too quickly. Right. Okay. If not, let's move on to closing, and I'll get you out of here in time to get to your next class on time. So that is the end of the actual class. And I do want to thank you for attending. Hope you learned some things about WhatsApp, and we'll give it a try. It's free. And there's some scenarios where it can be very helpful. One thing I didn't mention about messaging apps, lots of people use multiple messaging apps, so you don't have to pick WhatsApp as opposed to Facebook Messenger or as opposed to Instagram. You can use all three because, as I mentioned at the top, they do have their own specialties. And if I'm sending, if I need to send a copy of a secure document to my brother, I'm going to use WhatsApp. If I'm sending him a bunch of pictures, I'd probably use Instagram instead. So you just kind of pick what you want to use. But we do hope you're enjoying your experience. And if you're a social media person, that you're sharing your experiences on social media. And we would love to have you include us so we can see what you're sharing, and we'll like that post. If you don't do social media, but you want to get what you're doing out there, share your experiences, you can email them to liz@getsetup.io. That's Liz there. She's our marketing director, and she'll send it out for you. A couple of related classes I've mentioned already, Facebook Messenger and sharing photos with Instagram are the introductory classes for both of those messaging apps in case you're interested in those as well. I'm going to go to the closing slides. And after class, there will be an email coming out with several links in it and several sections to it. The first section is the class notes section, which will have some key takeaways as well as links to several different websites with additional information about WhatsApp. If you enjoyed the class and want to recommend it to a friend, you can do that by either posting a link on your Facebook account, or you can send a link via email to one or more people. It'll be a link to the next time the class is going to be offered. There's links in the email to 3 other classes. This is a nice little shortcut. If you just click on that link in the email, it'll take you directly to that class on our website so you can register for it. The Give Feedback link just opens up our feedback page. 2 questions. Rate the class 1 to 5 stars. Just click on the number of stars. Rate the guide 1 to 5 stars. Again, click on the number of stars. There's a place to add comments. We certainly hope you'll add some comments. They're not required, but they're greatly appreciated. And hit done. 2 minutes to do a quick feedback review. We hope you're enjoying being part of the Get Set Up community. And if you are, there's some other things that you can do. You can host an interest group if you would like to. We're starting to have more technical interest groups now. So for instance, if you wanted to create a group, be part of an interest group of WhatsApp, get together with other people a couple of times a month just to talk about how you're using it, share ideas, ask questions of other people in the group if you're having problems. Let us know. Just email us at help@getsetup.io. If there's a class you'd like to see us offer, you can use the same email address, or if you're part of an organization that you think would be a good partner for Get Set Up, let us know about that organization, its name, and if you have a contact and phone number, that would be great. We'll give them a call and so we can work together. And as we said at the top of the class, you can request a recording of this or any other session you're attending. Just send that email to help@getsetup.io along with the name of the class and the date you attended. The last link takes you to our website. It says View Schedule, where you can book another class. A few things I want to call out. We've been making a lot of changes to our website lately, and just make sure you found some of the latest ones. Right at the center of the screen now is View My Complete Schedule. If you click that, it takes you to the other classes that you've already booked. If you booked any other classes, you can see what you've booked. If you know you've got a conflict, you can cancel a class just by clicking here and free that seat up for somebody else. When it's time to take the class, you can launch from here. You don't have to keep the email that we sent you. You can still use the email, but you can launch straight from here as well. If you know the class you want to take, lots of times the easiest way to find it is to just use this search. So if I'm looking for that Instagram class, I like pictures. You can just start typing Instagram and it'll pop up usually before you type the full word. Here's that share photos on Instagram. That's the introductory class, the basics class for Instagram. You could just click that and it'll take you to that class. You can read about it, make sure it's the one you think you want to take, and book the class from here. And one last thing I wanted to show you that people have been asking for a while is that if there's a guide or several guides that you like their classes and you want to take some more of their classes, just put the name here in the search and hit enter. And it will now take you to a list of all the classes that guide is teaching in the next couple of weeks. And you can scroll through the guides, and it is in chronological order. It starts with today and it starts going out. And you can book any of those classes. So if you want to learn about smart homes, you can just click book and book that class. There was one last thing I just thought of as I got to this screen. We did change the book screen. So if you click book, it will take you to a screen confirming that you're all booked. You can add it to your calendar. This has been here for a while, where you can pick which you want to. But you can also, oops, and it took me out of there. Let me go back again. Book a different one. So in addition to put it on the calendar, you can invite a friend at this point as well. So if it's a class that maybe you'd like to take at the same time with some other people, you can just click invite a friend, and you can either put in their email address here and it will send them a link, or you can copy the link and create your own email or post it in Facebook or wherever you want to post it and say, let's all go attend this class. That way you can talk about it after class. It's a way to invite other people. And of course, inviting other people makes it so we can keep offering these classes and offer more classes. Okay, any questions about our website? Anybody had any problems booking classes? All right, if not, we are done. I've got you out 2 minutes early to get to your next class on time. I do want to thank you for attending. Hope you enjoyed the class as much as I did, and hope I see you in another one of my classes really soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's all
Thanks.
new to me.
Oh, good. Okay. Hope I see you in another class then. Thanks, Earl.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.